Right now at 5, we learn the identity of the teen that drowned in the pool at the YMCA.
Well, we've got a warm and muggy start across the 4 states today ahead of some slightly better rain chances this afternoon. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
And a CR rear ends an Amish buggy, causing the death of one infant.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So Tanya was coming over to grab the handy-dandy iPad that news folks use to read things. And I noticed the color of her dress. I feel like it would disappear in front of our green screen. So at some point, we're going to have to test this theory and see for sure if that color does what we call keying out, where it would disappear and you would just see her head.
My dress wouldn't disappear, like entirely. You just see through me.
Yeah, you'd see through her.
I wouldn't be naked. Don't give me ideas.
No, nothing like that. You'd just be able to see through her.
This is early morning news, not the night.
Yeah, this is
news.
Not KOAM after hours or anything like that. But we do have some additional thunderstorm chances today. I don't know if you noticed, it's pretty darn muggy outside. I got up this morning, walked outside, and boy, it is humid, and that is because we do have better storm chances as we head into this afternoon. So as we go later down the road, we'll start to see some of these thunderstorm chances pick up. We're looking at partly cloudy skies again, and here we go about 4 o'clock. Between 2 and 4, we're going to start to see these thunderstorms develop around the area, and you can see there's a few more of them than what we've seen with these pop-up storms. Yesterday's pop-up storms, as you know, we were expecting them primarily in southwest Missouri, and even then it was showing isolated ones. They barely made it this far west, unfortunately. But we've got better storm chances as we head through this afternoon into this evening. There's a brief pause, and then we get a few more of them into the overnight hours and into early Friday morning. And then we've got another round of pop-up storms for us on our Friday, and then we'll see a better chance of showers and thunderstorms, more organized showers and thunderstorms as we head into our Saturday and Sunday. So you can see where our rain chances start to pick up as we go through the afternoon and into the evening. MoDOT camera, 32nd and range line. Traffic lights are functioning this morning. As you remember yesterday, they were having a few technical issues with them. KDOT camera, 69 and 400, looking good as well. And from our camera at 7th and range line, I know that this is saying clear, but I know on my way in, I noticed that we were at partly to mostly cloudy skies out there this morning. It was a bit darker. 71 in Joplin right now, dew point 61, humidity 70%, so that's making it quite muggy. And of course, we're in the low 70s. It's 5 a.m. and it's the low 70s. We got 67 in Nevada, 68 Fort Scott, 69 Chanute, 64 Miami, and 67 in Neosho. We get our day started. We've got those mostly clear, partly cloudy skies as we go through the morning. Much warmer today. Look how quickly we warm up. We're talking nearly the mid-80s by late morning. We're looking at highs again right around 90, and then we'll see those partly cloudy skies. Those thunderstorm chances continue to build and increase as we head into the evening hours, and we have another mild evening ahead of us too, upper 60s for our overnight lows. Pop-up storms tomorrow, upper 80s this weekend. Better storm chances and a pinch cooler. 81 Monday, and then more thunderstorm chances as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Tanya?
Thanks, Chris. Well, Pittsburgh mourns the death of a teen as authorities release the name of the man who was found unresponsive in the Pittsburgh YMCA pool on Tuesday. That man is 19-year-old Caden Barber. Caden graduated from Pittsburgh High School in 2022, and during his time at PHS, Caden was a standout athlete, excelling on both the football field and then later on the wrestling mat. Emergency responders were called to the Y around 7:50 a.m. Tuesday, and that's where they found Caden unresponsive at the pool. He was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. His family says Caden had been doing water training in preparation for going to the Navy. While police do not suspect foul play, Caden's death is still under investigation. A celebration of life for Caden has been announced by his family. It will be on Tuesday at Memorial Auditorium in Pittsburgh at 2 p.m. An infant died Tuesday evening after a car rear-ended an Amish horse-drawn buggy just outside of Seymour, Missouri. The parents, Sammy and Barbara Schwartz, were also thrown out of the buggy and have moderate injuries. Signs warn drivers to be cautious because buggies are numerous in the town. Seymour is home to a large Amish population. Missouri Highway Patrol and a Seymour resident both say drivers need to share the road so tragedies like this do not happen again.
infants and all kinds of ages in those little buggies, and they're not wearing seatbelts like we are. We are a little bit more safe than they are, but so we need to be more aware of our surroundings and share the streets and follow. I mean, there's signs out in the roads that there's buggies, to watch out, share the road, and I don't think we're listening to that. We're not paying attention, and they're at the end of the day, they're human beings, they're people.
Missouri Highway Patrol says there is currently no rule or law saying the Amish need a safety device for children in horse-drawn buggies. State troopers are still investigating the crash. A single car crash in Montgomery County, Kansas claims the life of a teenager. The crash happened Tuesday night on County Road 4300, about 2 miles north of U-166. Now, authorities say 18-year-old Mackenzie Kendall was driving south when her car crossed the center line, overcorrected, and went off the road, hitting a metal fence. She died at the hospital. There were 2 other passengers in the car who were not injured. A jury convicts a Carthage man for a murder in a 2021 fatal DWI crash in Joplin. Kenton Cowgill is guilty on all 4 counts of second-degree murder, DWI resulting in death, felony resisting arrest by fleeing, and drug trafficking. Authorities say he was found with more than 90 grams of methamphetamine. Authorities say in 2021, Cowgill was passed out in his car, blocking a driveway, and when police woke him up, they say he sped away, leading them on a chase. It ended in a fatal crash involving 2 other cars. The driver of one of the cars was 66-year-old Robert McDermott, a retired Missouri Southern professor. McDermott died from injuries in the crash. You can learn more about this case on our website and our KOAM News app. The search for 3 missing women known as the Springfield Three continues 31 years later. Sometime between the hours of 2:15 a.m. and 7:30 a.m., Stacy McCall, her friend Suzanne Streeter, and Suzanne's mother, Cheryl Levitt, went missing from the Levitt home on June 7, 1992. But there were no signs of a struggle at the residence. According to Missouri Missing, it appeared as though all 3 of the victims were captured. All of their belongings, including clothing, jewelry, money, purses, vehicles, keys, and a dog, were left behind. If you have any information, contact the Springfield Police Department, 417-864-1810, or contact the Missouri Highway Patrol's Missing Person Unit. The number to call, 573-526-6178. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a former Columbus standout earns a chance to suit up for one of the best programs in the country. Plus, a couple in California celebrates their 79th wedding anniversary. And how a new form of birth control for cats may help curb the feral cat population. We'll have details. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
A former Columbus High School standout, Patrick Cassidy, has spent the last 2 years as a manager for the KU men's basketball team. But now the former Titan has earned a chance to suit up for one of the best programs in the country, going from a team manager to walk-on player in his final year in Lawrence.
Just a few years ago, Patrick Cassidy was a multi-sport standout for the Columbus Titans.
I never in a million years would have dreamed this. It wasn't even a thought that this could even be possible whenever I was at Columbus.
After high school, Cassidy went to KU to study finance. He spent the last 2 years as a manager for the men's basketball team, getting a chance to be on the floor with some of the best players in the country.
My first year, I was kind of seeing glimpses of it, and then my second year, so last year, I was doing pretty good, and I was like, this is surprising, Like I wasn't supposed to be doing what I was doing, and I was able to score the ball, and then I could defend a little bit too, and I was like, maybe I can keep up a little bit with these guys.
Then came a meeting with KU head coach Bill Self last month when Cassidy learned that he would have the chance to go from manager to a walk-on player for the Jayhawks.
He just congratulated me and said I deserved it, and it was surreal being in his office and getting that opportunity to talk to him like that. It was crazy. It was definitely a good feeling walking out of that office, and especially telling my parents because they were so proud of me, and it meant everything.
Cassidy was an all-conference and all-state player for the Titans, leaving Columbus with more than 1,000 career points. He'll wear a different jersey for the first time since but he's still playing for the same people who were behind him years ago in southeast Kansas.
I just want to let the town of Columbus, the community of Columbus, know that no matter what I'm doing, always feel free to reach out. Always feel free to hit me up, because I'm doing it for them. I'm doing it for my family. I'm doing it for Columbus. As long as I'm making my community and my family proud, that's really all I'm here to do. I hope my story can inspire other managers and other people that really feel like they're either too small, not good enough, just to keep working. I've already had a couple people reach out and saying hey, your story's inspired me to, keep pursuing my love for the game and trying to play in college. So really that's what I want to use myself for, is to show that no matter what you do, as long as you work hard, as long as you put your head down, you grind, then, anything's possible.
Cassidy will play just one season for Kansas. He plans to graduate with his bachelor degree in finance next May before pursuing his master's degree. Well, the Joplin Outlaws are off to a 2-0 start to their summer schedule. They beat Des Moines and St. Joe in their first 2 home games of the season. Last night, the Outlaws on the road for the first time facing the Sedalia Bombers. Joplin wins again, this time 5-2. Big night for Landon Meyer. He goes 2 for 4 with a double, a home run, and 4 RBIs. Well, Pittsburg State women's basketball begins the first session of its high school team camp. John Dales has more on the experience PSU is giving teams from across the 4 states and beyond.
Starting today, 66 girls high school basketball teams from Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Nebraska come to Pittsburgh to compete against each other. And Pitt State women's basketball head coach Amanda David is the one in charge of coordinating it all.
And it's a lot of fun to organize. Honestly, the logistics of it, there's a lot to it to make it run smooth so that when we get here we can just kind of enjoy watching the games, mingle with the coaches. But it's great for the community. It's great for our women's basketball program to have all these kids here.
One of the local players competing is Girard High School senior Peyton Brooks, who says this camp is always a fun part of the summer.
It's been a fun 4 years come here. I always look forward to it. It's fun to play bigger schools, bigger teams that we don't normally get to play. When we played at Pitt State, we played at Frontenac, played at the middle school. It just makes us better. Whether we win or lose, it still pushes us, makes us play better.
The camp is also beneficial to the Pitt State players, who help keep score, scrimmage in front of the campers, and interact with some of their new teammates.
It's nice because we get our freshmen up here. We kind of get the team acclimated to each other in the summer, which is huge for us and it's paid off during the season. I think that's a big part of our team camp. I think we do a lot of recruiting from it. We get a bunch of good, talented girls from all over a couple different states, and so we get to look at them here.
And that added aspect of recruiting makes this worthwhile for everyone involved.
There's teams that we know of the kids coming in, and then there's some teams that we get surprised and, oh man, we really like that kid. And so, like I said, it's a great way to show them around our campus, let them see what we have to offer here.
The first session of the camp continues tomorrow, then wraps up on Friday. John Dales, KOAM TV.
Now, Coach David says she expects 89 more high schools to participate in the camp's second session next week. Well, still to come, how more children and young adults are becoming anxious but receiving less treatment for it. And we'll take another look at that warm, muggy forecast with those rain chances when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Coming up on 5:19 on this Thursday morning across the area. We've got a very warm, muggy start for us out there this morning, and we've got another hot, muggy day ahead of us with more thunderstorm chances as we head later into this afternoon and into the evening hours. So we're not talking pop-up thunderstorms this time. We're talking actual organized shower and thunderstorm activity. So between about 2 and 4, we'll start to see this activity develop across the area, and it'll move on to the south. There'll be intermittent pauses here and there, but we'll continue to see showers and thunderstorms develop and roll through even as we head into the late evening and early overnight hours. Now, as we head into our Friday, more pop-up storms are possible as we head into the afternoon. Friday is a pop-up thunderstorm kind of day, but then we'll head into our Saturday and Sunday, and we have another decent chance of organized showers and thunderstorms. So you can see where these rain chances ramp up. You know, over the last few days, when we show you any of the precipitation chance maps, they're always in that 20-30% range, and they bounce up and down because we're talking pop-up storms. This is an even better indicator of actual organized shower and thunderstorm activity. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line looking good so far. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera 7th and range line there, barely visible. We just barely have enough daylight, but you can see what I was talking about. We've got partly to mostly cloudy skies right now this morning. 71 in Joplin, dew point 61, humidity is 70%, so it's very muggy out there this morning. 68 in Fort Scott, 69 in Pittsburgh, 65 Independence, 64 Miami, and 71 up in Carthage this morning. We get our morning started. We'll have a few passing clouds, partly cloudy skies here and there. Much warmer, much faster though. We're talking near the mid-80s by late morning, and that gives us highs again today right around 90 degrees. We'll start to see those partly cloudy skies, and as we head into the afternoon, evening, and even to the early overnight hours, we'll see a few thunderstorms across the area, so some much needed rainfall coming in. And I was looking at the precipitation tracker. Now, it's still several days going, but at least from now through Sunday, it's guessing or estimating that a lot of us are going to see upwards of about an inch and a half of rain between now and Sunday evening. So hopefully that holds true. Hopefully we get a little bit more. All right, so mid-60s, upper 60s overnight lows tonight. We headed to tomorrow, pop-up storms once again near 90, into the mid-80s this weekend. Better storm chances, cooler on Monday, low 80s, and then temperatures begin to climb again next week. Take a look at this thing in hot, hot, hot as we head into the end of next week. Temperatures low to mid-90s following some thunderstorm chances Tuesday and Wednesday next week. One couple in California celebrating 79 years of marriage. We're going to head out there to find out more.
If you want to know about real love, lasting love, the kind of love that makes you believe in love, well, one of the best sources sits in a quiet Union City neighborhood.
I still love it. Love you too.
Ori McCrae and his wife Lena have been side by side figuratively and literally for 79 years. Their anniversary celebration Monday has its beginnings far from the Bay, in two small Arkansas towns during the days of Jim Crow. They met as teens in school. He caught her eye, and her smile snared him.
Oh, she was pretty, yeah. One of the best looking girls on the campus. I knew a lot about him.
He was nice?
I thought he was.
Handsome?
Yes.
3 years of courtship led to marriage by a justice of the peace.
When I first asked her to marry me, that was the woman I wanted to be with her. And after we got married, we stayed together. We stuck together all these years.
Soon thereafter, departure from Arkansas, first to Detroit for work as a spot welder, and then in 1951, relocation to the Bay.
Came through that 100-degree heat. And I came in the San Francisco guys had jackets on, and I short sleeve like this on, and I'm enjoying the good cold weather. That sold me.
A home first in the Bayview for 30 years, but the last 30 in Union City. Now with 6 children, 25 grandchildren, 15 great-grandchildren, and 3 great-great-grandchildren. Similar likes and a bond in Christ has helped them create a large DNA cohort.
Oh, I just enjoy this large family, really, really, really. Oh, my goodness. Yes, yes, yes.
Would you do it all over again?
I'd start it all over again. Sure would.
Both say they're so very happy their decades together, the moves and milestones, have been made possible because long ago they found a love that lasts.
Good days, bad days, but we would always manage to work it out.
Absolutely incredible story there. Well, that brings us to our question for you this morning. Do you believe in soulmates? Yes or no? Well, we want to hear from you. Make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. We will be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, there might be a new way to help curb populations of feral cats. A new study reports that long-lasting contraceptive injections are showing promise to keep cats from getting pregnant. 6 cats were injected with a gene that affects a hormone in ovarian follicles. 2 years later, researchers found the shot was still working, and none of the cats in the group became pregnant after a couple of male cats were introduced. More kids, teens, and young adults are experiencing anxiety, but fewer are getting the right treatment. Researchers looked at office-based physician visits to see how many included an anxiety disorder diagnosis and what treatment, if any, was given. They found that while visits for anxiety increase, the proportion of visits with therapy decrease. They say that's troubling, as existing evidence has shown that for most people, therapy is the best way to treat anxiety. Could be a game changer for people needing heart transplants. Researchers are optimistic about tapping into a potential new pool of heart donors, people whose hearts have stopped beating. Traditionally, the only people considered to be suitable donors were those declared brain dead, but their hearts continued to function. Some doctors, like in the UK and Spain, are turning to donors whose hearts stopped beating after the withdrawal of life support, a condition known as circulatory death. Researchers said they were able to use 90% of the hearts from donors with circulatory deaths. Let's look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves another hot and muggy day with some actual better rain chances as we head into the afternoon. We'll take a look at that full forecast when we come back.
Good morning, I'm Tanya Bach with your KOAM News Update. And now that the debt ceiling bill has passed, college students may need to start making preparations for student loan repayments. Student at Missouri Southern University tells her concerns with loans coming due. The 2023 Missouri Preservation Conference is underway in Joplin. One speaker talked about her progress in restoring local cemeteries. Jasper County is not the only county with decaying cemeteries, though. Missouri has dozens of abandoned cemeteries and not taxed for maintenance. Folks in Commerce, Oklahoma came out Wednesday evening for the first day of Commerce Days. This is the 12th year of the event. There was live music, arts and crafts, vendors, and even a carnival.
We got another hot and muggy day for us today. Partly cloudy skies, temperatures pushing right around 90. And then we'll actually see some real thunderstorm chances as we head into this afternoon and this evening, even into the early overnight hours. So some meaningful rainfall and some actual thunderstorm activity. Now, we're not anticipating any severe weather, but a stray strong storm or two is possible out there. And we're mild again this evening, mid to upper 60s. Upper 80s, near 90 tomorrow. Pop-up storms. Better storm chances return again this weekend. Mid 80s, cooler Monday. And we got more storm chances as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday.
Right now at 5:30, Missouri Governor Mike Parson signs a bill into law banning certain age groups from gender-affirming care.
It's warm and muggy out there this morning across the area ahead of another hot and muggy day, but we've got actual real rain chances later this afternoon. We'll talk about that forecast coming up.
And it's time for Bushwhacker Days. In Nevada, Missouri, our very own Yana Dula takes us there to learn more.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:31. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's a bit muggy out there this morning. I got outside and boy, it just was like going out in the middle of a summer evening across the area. And some of us are a little cooler, but that humidity is still pretty high, and that's ahead of some additional thunderstorm chances that we have this afternoon. But the good news is today's storm chances looking to bring some actual meaningful rainfall.
Really?
We're not talking pop-up storms. We're talking actual shower and thunderstorm chances. So let's take a look down the road. As we head this afternoon between about 2 and 4, we'll start to see these showers and thunderstorms develop because we've got a stalled boundary just almost right on top of us. And we'll be able to see actual real thunderstorm and rain chances develop across the area. These will push through as we head into the evening, and then we'll see additional shower and thunderstorm activity head into the late evening and early overnight hours. As we go into our Friday, we are looking at pop-up storm chances again, but then we head into the weekend and we return to actual thunderstorm chances, real rainfall chances out there. And take a look at this. We were talking about it earlier. Our rain chances through 7 tonight, you can see where they really pick up. And the key difference here is the fact that with the pop-up storms, any of these graphs that we've shown you for rain chances have been 20, 30%, and they bounce just up and down. So you can see actual rain chances out there, which is great news for the region. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line, looking good this morning. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400 south of Pittsburgh. There are those clouds, so we're partly to mostly cloudy this morning. Said it's 71 in Joplin, dew point 61, humidity 70%. So it does feel a bit on the muggy side out there. Across the area, we got 68 Nevada, 70 Fort Scott, 68 Pittsburgh, 63 Parsons, Miami. We're at 68 in Neosho. We get our morning started. We'll have some of those passing clouds. Otherwise, sunny skies, hot, near mid-80s by late morning. So that's a big warm up for us. Highs today once again approaching right around 90 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and we'll start to see those thunderstorm chances later this afternoon. We'll have another full look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes. Tanya?
Thanks, Chris. Transgender minors and some adults in Missouri will soon be banned from accessing puberty blockers, hormones, and gender-affirming surgeries. Governor Mike Parsons signed the bill on Wednesday. Beginning August 28th, Missouri healthcare providers will not be able to prescribe those gender-affirming treatments for teens and children. Most adults will still have access to transgender healthcare under the law, but Medicaid will not cover it. Gender-affirming surgeries for inmates and prisoners will also be outlawed. The law is set to expire in 2027. Governor Parson also signed a bill prohibiting educational institutions from allowing biological male students from participating on sports teams designated for biological females. The law applies to elementary, secondary, and post-secondary education institutions. That includes private schools, public schools, charter schools, and colleges and universities. Well, folks in Commerce, Oklahoma came out Wednesday evening for the first day of Commerce Days. This is the 12th year of the event. There was live music, arts and crafts, vendors, and even a carnival.
All the rides, you know, it's the whole town comes and has fun. Commerce Days, that's what it's all about. So I'm just really here, have fun with my friends, you know, hang out.
When we go down, it makes my tummy tickle.
Those rides are so much fun. The fun continues through Saturday. Well, the annual Vernon County Festival and Bushwhacker Days are coming up in Nevada. KOAM's Yana Dula talked about the event with the Nevada Chamber of Commerce and tourism officials.
Nevada residents are preparing their booths for the 59th annual Bushwhacker Days and Vernon County Festival.
It's just a community getting together and having fun. You know, so many communities, they work together to overcome the struggles that smaller communities have, but we sit back for a weekend and we enjoy it. We enjoy a weekend, we have great music, we come together as a community to support others and just have fun together. One big, huge, happy family.
The name for the festival dates back to the Civil War.
When the Kansas and Missouri border wars were happening, and that's kind of where the name comes from. It's not anything really having to do with that anymore. It's a good, fun time for everybody to get together. This is the 59th year of it, and so to change the name would kind of just lose the excitement of what it is.
Sloniker says, besides vendors, booths, music, and the carnival, an old tradition they still hold is a royalty pageant competition.
They've actually gone through interview process and been questioned on some of the history of the Bushwhacker Days or of the Civil War era and that kind of thing. And they will also be wearing period clothing from that time.
Interim Tourism Director Gaiman says 3 nights of free concerts drives people out of town to the area and vendors as well.
The majority of our vendors come from out of town. From Oklahoma, Arkansas, we have some from Tennessee, some from Kansas, so yeah, we have a wide variety of that.
In Nevada, Janna Hautala, KOAM News.
Well, the festival begins today and runs through Saturday. Well, now that the debt ceiling bill has passed, college students may need to start making preparations for student loan repayments. Missouri Southern Financial Aid Advisor points out the university provides help to ease student woes.
They can call, email, and we will respond. I am here available for borrowers if they have difficulty trying to figure out who their loan servicer is. I can look that up for them. I can give them the contact information and their website so that then they can successfully contact their servicer.
Student loan repayments could begin 60 days after the Supreme Court makes its decision on the Biden-Harris forgiveness plan. Now, students are encouraged to get in contact with our loan servicer and figure out a plan. The 2023 Missouri Preservation Conference is underway in Joplin. One speaker, Ricky Smith, talked about her progress in restoring local cemeteries. Jasper County is not the only county with decaying cemeteries. Missouri has dozens of abandoned cemeteries and is not taxed for maintenance. Smith shares why her and some volunteers have been restoring cemeteries for a while now.
And if we don't preserve them, we will lose them. Even some common practices from 20 or 30 years ago, like using chalk to make rubbings or using pencils to make rubbings of stones, those things can actually damage the headstones and make them less readable to us today.
The 2023 Missouri Preservation Conference will continue through Friday. The Oklahoma Broadband Office is on a tour across the state to meet with local officials and community members about their high-speed internet priorities. On Wednesday, they stopped by Miami for a meeting at the Coleman Theater. Officials with the office discussed the benefits of increased access, adoption, and widespread use of high-speed internet that it can bring to a community like Miami.
Video calling, be it Zoom, Teams, things like that. At a 25.3 speed, you're going to get pixelated viewpoints. You're not going to see consistent video monitoring. The voices are going to sound funny. With 120 access, you're going to see a much better resolution. You're going to see a much better, more consistent picture.
Broadband is such an important thing for our communities, and since I'm an advocate for the community, I wanted to make sure I was here to see what was discussed.
I thought you were going to. The Broadband Office expects to hand out more than $1 billion in grants across the state by 2028 to improve broadband infrastructure and accessibility. Well, this morning we're discussing soulmates.
Yeah, if you want to know about real love, a lasting love, the kind of love that makes you believe in love, one of the best sources sits in a quiet Union City neighborhood in California.
Ori McCrae and his wife Lena have been side by side, figuratively and literally, for 79 years. Their anniversary celebration on Monday has its beginnings far from the bay in two small Arkansas towns during the days of Jim Crow. Now, they met as teens in school. He caught her eye and her smile snared him. 3 years of courtship led to marriage by a justice of the peace.
And that brings us to our question for you this morning. Do you believe in soulmates? So far, 73% of you say that you do, 27% say you do not. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
Should have asked you during the commercial break if you cared to weigh in on this, or if you do, then would you get in trouble?
I would not get in trouble because I do. I knew years and years ago that Amber was the one. It just took us a while to join up and figure that out together, that we were meant to be together.
And now you have a wonderful little family together.
We do. 8 years now. 8 years, and we haven't killed each other. So that's how I know too.
There you go. All right, thanks, Chris. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. We meet two adorable pups who just can't be separated.
Plus, the Pope undergoes his second abdominal surgery. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back, but first, we're celebrating the Great Outdoors Month, and here's a look from McClellan Park. Topping World Watch, Pope Francis underwent his second abdominal surgery in 2 years, a day after he went to a hospital in Rome for a checkup. Vatican says there were no complications in the 3-hour operation. Tina Kraus has the latest.
Just hours before his surgery, Pope Francis spent Wednesday morning blessing the faithful in St. Peter's Square, zipping around in his Pope-mobile before leaving in his Fiat for Gemelli Hospital in Rome. The Vatican says the 86-year-old pontiff was put under general anesthesia for a hernia repair and is expected to be hospitalized for several days.
Obviously, we pray for him and hope for his quick recovery.
The operation comes 2 years after his last abdominal surgery, when doctors removed part of his colon because of diverticulitis. The Pope recently revealed the painful bowel condition had come back.
It remains to be seen how quickly he, as a man of 86 years, with some other health issues, can fully recover.
Pope Francis spent 3 days in the hospital earlier this year. Initially, the Vatican said he'd gone in for scheduled tests, but the pontiff later revealed he'd had chest pains and doctors diagnosed him with bronchitis. When he was released, the Pope joked with crowds, quipping, "I'm still alive." Over the last year, the pontiff has relied more on his wheelchair and cane, but he's still keeping a busy schedule with several audiences each day. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
The Pope's events for the next 10 days have been canceled as a precautionary measure. Pope Francis has a busy summer ahead, with the Vatican recently confirming he will make a 4-day visit to Portugal for World Youth Day, followed by a long trip to Mongolia. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:48 now on this Thursday morning, and we've got some actual thunderstorm chances for us today. Now, you may be wondering, well, what does that mean? Some of us have seen some thunderstorms. I'm talking organized thunderstorms over a wider area, not just pop-up storms. So let's take a look down the road. So as we head 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock, we'll start to see scattered showers and thunderstorms develop across the region. You can see there's more of them out there as we head into the afternoon. That batch rolls through the evening, then we get another batch that develops over southeast Kansas later this evening, and that'll persist even into the early overnight hours. And so we're actually going to get real rain. Now, Friday, we return to the pop-up storms where we'll see 1 or 2 here and there. And then as we head into the weekend, we'll see more actual rain chances across the area. So we talked about the 7 to 7. You can see where our precip chances ramp up as we head into the evening hours across the area. And it's not just going 20, 30% and bouncing back and down here and there. It's actual rain chances. And we need this rain so badly across the 4 states. So looking forward to some of this activity. Now, again, we're not anticipating any strong to severe thunderstorms, but there could be a stray storm or two out there with this activity. All right, MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line. We're looking good so far. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400, just south of Pittsburgh. And from our camera at 7th in range line, we do have some clouds out there, so we're going to call that partly cloudy. So we get some daylight. 71 still in Joplin. Dew point 61, humidity is 70%. So it is pretty muggy out there. That air is thick for sure. Around the area, we got 67 Nevada, Pittsburgh, 70 in Chanute, 64 Neodesha, Miami, 66 Chatopa, 68 Neosho, and sitting at 70 in Carthage. We get our morning started. Well, those partly cloudy skies here and there, so some passing clouds. We warm up even quicker as we go near to the mid-80s by late morning. And as we head into the afternoon, another hot and muggy one for us. Temps approaching right around 90 degrees with those partly cloudy skies. We get the thunderstorm chances in here later this afternoon into the evening and early overnight hours. We'll have another mild evening ahead of us as well as lows drop back mid to upper 60s. And of course, once we get under this rain, it'll be nice as our temperatures will fall back a little faster than usual, or faster than what we've seen the last few days. Still near 90 tomorrow, pop-up storms in the afternoon, better storm chances as we head into the day Saturday and into Sunday as well. Temperatures mid-80s, a little cooler on Monday, so enjoy that because as you see, it doesn't last. We go mid-upper 80s, more storms Tuesday, Wednesday, and then hot, hot, hot as temperatures go back lower to mid-90s by the end of next week. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this, but first, here's another live look at McClellan Park in honor of Great Outdoors Month.
A pair of adorable furry friends proved that nothing can keep them apart, and if you're looking for the next big thing in housing, then you might want to head on down to Texas. Jeremy Roth has these stories in today's Take a Look at This.
Employees at a Minneapolis animal care and control were stunned one morning when they noticed one of their residents had a new roommate. Looking through their security footage, they found the moment when a brown pit bull, Brenda, scaled the shelter wall to be with her friend, Linda. Brenda and Linda. In the immortal words of Diana Ross, ain't no cement wall high enough to keep them doggos apart, babe. I'm remembering that, right?
We rewatched the video that we have, and I about died. I was like, this is truly magnificent.
Brenda and Linda came into the shelter as strays and have since become inseparable. The staff hopes to find them a forever home together. A tough task considering adoptions, especially for larger dogs, are down and surrenders are up. The shelter says issues like housing affordability and breed restrictions are major factors. Hey, if you're looking for a house in the Austin area, you may want to check out these amazing 3D printed homes. You heard that right, 3D printed. Icon is overseeing the area's first 3D printed community comprised of 100 innovative homes. Their massive printing robots are creating the homes using inch-thick cement that Icon says, along with solar panels, will reduce energy costs. Buyers can choose between multiple floor plans starting at $475,000.
We're excited to kind of prove out the technology and prove out the construction methods with folks that want to be trailblazers.
Take a look at this. I'm Jeremy Roth.
That's pretty cool. Talk about best friends forever. Those dogs, I hope they can find someone that will adopt them together. We'll be right back.
Rewards you won't find anywhere else. All veterans and military.
Well, nearly 27 years after his death, Tupac is finally getting a star on the Walk of Fame. On Wednesday, the late rap star Tupac Shakur was honored with the 2,758th star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's a lot of them. Famous rapper was recognized in the recording category. Tupac's sister, Sequoia Shakur, accepted the star on behalf of the late star. Tupac died in 1996, I remember this, at the age of 25 after a drive-by shooting. Sumatran tigers at the London Zoo are paddling into summer. Cubs Zach and Crispin had their very first swimming lesson this week. The Cubs, who will turn 1 later this month, played with giant floating balls under the watchful eye of parents Geisha and Asim. The zoo says tigers are excellent swimmers because of their webbed paws.
It's going to feel like you're swimming through the air today with how humid it is. We will have some passing clouds out there through the morning hours, mid-80s by late morning. Highs today pushing once again near 90, muggy and partly cloudy. Then we start to see some actual thunderstorm chances build in across the area as we head into the afternoon, late evening, and even early overnight hours. And we're mild again tonight in the mid to upper 60s. Pop-up storms tomorrow, and then better storm chances return for us through the weekend, and we'll be in the mid-80s. A little cooler on Monday, lower 80s, more thunderstorms Tuesday and Wednesday, and temperatures by the end of next week going low to mid 90s. We'll be right back with more after this.
Right now at 6, a car rear ends an Amish horse-drawn buggy just outside of Seymour, Missouri, resulting in the death of an infant.
We got a muggy start for us across the area, a little bit warmer as well. Another hot, muggy day for us, but better storm chances later today. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
And a Carthage man will soon go to prison for his role in a 2021 fatal DWI crash in Joplin.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner, just after 6 o'clock now on this Thursday morning here in the 4 states, and we are one day away from the weekend. Looking forward to that. I know a lot of folks are probably looking forward to the weekend. If you've got weekend plans, unfortunately, it's going to be a stormy weekend, but the thing is, we need that rain. And I think even those folks with weekend plans know how badly we need that rain and are probably not that upset that we're getting some. So let's talk about today's rain first. We're going to have some actual, real thunderstorm chances as we head into the afternoon hours. So here we go. Between 1 and 4, we start to see these thunderstorms develop around the region. And these aren't just pop-up storms like we've seen. These are real, actual, full-on thunderstorms, showers out there. I'm not talking severe weather. A strong storm or two maybe. maybe, but we're not talking severe weather. We're just talking actual rain over a more widespread area as we head through the afternoon, late evening hours, and even into the early overnight hours. We could see some additional showers and maybe a couple of thunderstorms out there. Now, Friday, we go back to pop-up storm chances, but at least today, we're looking at real rain, and you can see that as our rain chances really ramp up as we head into this evening. None of that 20-30% bouncing around business. We're talking real rain chances as we head into the afternoon hours today. MoDOT camera 32nd and range line looking good so far. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 400. And take a look at this sunrise on our camera at 7th and range line. Looks absolutely beautiful. We're at 70 in Joplin, partly cloudy skies, dew point 61, humidity 73%. So it is pretty muggy. That air is thick out there today. Around the area, we got 65 Nevada, 66 Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, 70 Chanute, 64 Miami, 67 in Neosho, and sitting at 69 in Carthage. We get our morning started. We'll have a few passing clouds, otherwise hot, mid-80s by late morning. And we've got highs today once again pushing right around that 90-degree mark. We'll go partly cloudy through the afternoon and start to see those thunderstorms develop. And we've got ourselves another mild evening ahead of us as well, back into the mid to upper 60s for our overnight lows. Near 90 tomorrow, mid-80s this weekend. That's where we see our better thunderstorm chances again. A little cooler on Monday, and then more storm chances by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a jury convicts a Carthage man for a murder in a 2021 fatal DWI crash in Joplin. Kenton Calgill is guilty on all 4 counts of second-degree murder, DWI resulting in death, felony resisting arrest by fleeing, and drug trafficking. Authorities say he was found with more than 90 grams of methamphetamine. Now, authorities say in 2021, Calgill was passed out in his car blocking a driveway. When police woke him up, they say he sped away, leading them on a chase. That chase ended in a fatal crash involving 2 other cars. The driver of one of the cars was 66-year-old Robert McDermott, a retired Missouri Southern professor. McDermott died from injuries in the crash. You can learn more about this case on the KOAM News app. An infant died Tuesday evening after a car rear-ended an Amish horse-drawn buggy just outside of Seymour, Missouri. The parents, Sammy and Barbara Schwartz, were also thrown out of the buggy and have moderate injuries. Now, signs warn drivers to be cautious because buggies are numerous in the town. Seymour is home to a large Amish population. Missouri Highway Patrol and a Seymour resident both say drivers need to share the road so tragedies like this do not happen again.
Infants and all kinds of ages in those little buggies, and they're not wearing seatbelts like we are. We are a little bit more safe than they are, but so we need to be more aware of our surroundings and share the streets and follow. I mean, there's signs out in the roads that there's buggies, you know, to watch out, share the road, and I don't think we're listening to that. We're not paying attention, and you know, they're at the end of the day, they're human beings, they're people.
Missouri Highway Patrol says there is currently no rule or law saying the Amish need a safety device for children in horse-drawn buggies. State troopers are still investigating the crash. And a single-car crash in Montgomery County, Kansas, claims the life of a teenager. The crash happened Tuesday night on Country Road 4300, about 2 miles north of U-166. Authorities say 18-year-old Mackenzie Kendall was driving south when her car crossed the center line, overcorrected, and went off the road, hitting a metal fence. She died at the hospital. There were 2 other passengers in the car who were not injured. Pittsburgh mourns the death of a teenager as authorities released the name of the man who was found unresponsive in the Pittsburgh YMCA pool on Tuesday. That man is 19-year-old Caden Barber. Caden graduated from Pittsburgh High School in 2022. During his time at PHS, Caden was a standout athlete, excelling on both the football field and later on the wrestling mat. Emergency responders were called to the Y around 7:50 a.m. on Tuesday, and that's where they found Caden unresponsive at the pool. He was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. His family says Caden had been doing water training in preparation for going to the Navy. While police do not suspect foul play, Caden's death is still under investigation. The family has announced a celebration of life for Caden. It'll be on Tuesday at Memorial Auditorium in Pittsburgh at 2 p.m. Former Vice President Mike Pence officially throws his hat in an increasingly crowded ring of GOP presidential contenders Astrid Martinez has the latest.
Before God and my family, I'm announcing that I'm running for President of the United States of America.
Former Vice President Mike Pence made it official with a rally in Iowa Wednesday, setting the stage for a potentially contentious battle with his former boss.
But it'll require new leadership in the White House and the Republican Party.
Pence cited January 6 and how former President Donald Trump pressured him to overturn the 2020 election.
President Trump also demanded that I choose between him and the Constitution. Now voters will be faced with the same choice.
Pence is joining a crowded field of high-profile challengers, including former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, and one of the leading contenders, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
We have a great country. We've got a proud history, but this country is falling on its face with respect to ensuring the sovereignty of our country.
Former President Trump is dominating early primary polls despite his extraordinary legal troubles. On Wednesday, a federal grand jury investigating Trump in Florida heard from an additional witness, signaling a move toward a possible indictment over Trump's alleged mishandling of classified documents. Astrid Martinez, CBS News, New York.
Governor Ron DeSantis, who announced his candidacy last week, took his campaign to Arizona and did a tour of the southern border. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the arrival of a soccer superstar makes the Sunshine State a little brighter.
The world's biggest soccer star may be on his way to playing here in the U.S. I'm Christian Benavides with what Lionel Messi is saying about potentially playing here in Miami.
Plus, millions of Americans reside under air quality alerts due to Canadian wildfires. We've got advice from the experts on how you can stay safe. And Chris returns with another look at your forecast and storm chances heading into the weekend. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. But first, in honor of Great Outdoors Month, here's another live look from McClellan Park in Joplin, Missouri. Well, topping Nation Watch this morning, the January 6th federal grand jury has subpoenaed former Trump White House advisor Steve Bannon. Special counsel Jack Smith's investigation centers on the events of the deadly January 6th insurrection. It is also looking into former President Trump's efforts to stay in office despite losing the election. Bannon defied a previous subpoena from the House Select Committee that investigated the attack on the Capitol. In July of 2022, a jury found him guilty of criminal contempt of Congress, and he was sentenced to 4 months in prison. A 10-year-old girl was found safe in Washington State more than 24 hours after she was reported missing in the Cascade Mountains, and that's just east of Seattle. Shungala Mashwani was separated from her family around 2 p.m. Sunday during a gathering at the Cathedral Pass trailhead. She was found alive with only minor scrapes the next day, about 1.5 miles south of where she was last seen. Shungala told rescuers she suddenly found herself alone as her family traveled over a footbridge. She said she hiked downstream through the dense forest and spent the cold night between some trees. Authorities are calling her extraordinarily resourceful and resilient. Wow. Wrestling legend, the Iron Sheik, is dead at the age of 81, and that's according to a post on his official social media account. It says he died peacefully, and it asks fans to, quote, respect the legend forever. Fans know him for his World Wrestling Entertainment persona, but his real name was Hussein Krosa Ali Vaziri. He's often remembered as Hulk Hogan's foe in the 80s, back when WWE was still called a federation. The Iron Sheik is a member of the WWE Hall of Fame, and he's a former WWF World Heavyweight Champion. He's survived by his wife, children, and grandchildren. Well, he is arguably the world's best soccer player. He's also arguably the most well-known. Now, Lionel Messi is reportedly making the surprise decision to bring his talents here to the U.S. And that's according to a report by the BBC. Christian Benavides has the latest from Fort Lauderdale.
Lionel Messi, a once-in-a-generation soccer player some will tell you is the best to ever play the game, may be coming to U.S. Major League Soccer as a member of Inter Miami. In an interview with the Spanish newspaper Mundo Deportivo, Messi confirmed his interest in making the move.
The biggest possible get that you can have. You're talking about the biggest soccer star in the world.
Inter Miami is co-owned by David Beckham, who will now become the second most well-known star to jump to the MLS. Carlin Gay is deputy editor of The Sporting News.
You have the biggest star in soccer, right? The biggest star in soccer coming off of a World Cup, still with plenty left in the tank, could go anywhere in the world and play, and he decided to come right here to the United States, decided to come to Miami.
Messi is believed to be turning down an offer to return to his longtime team, FC Barcelona, as well as a deal to play for a club in Saudi Arabia. Soccer insiders estimate that contract could have netted him as much as $1 billion over 2 years.
That speaks volumes, because it's not just about the money to him. It's obviously about the love for the game.
Messi is no stranger to South Florida. He reportedly bought a vacation home here in the Miami area back in 2021, and this has been a frequent vacation spot for his family. As for when Americans may get their first glimpse of the 35-year-old 7-time world's best player winner, he could make his debut for Miami as soon as July. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Fort Lauderdale.
Welcome to Miami. This will be Messi's first time playing professionally outside of Europe since he joined Barcelona's academy when he was just 13 years old. Messi just announced Sunday he was leaving Paris Saint-Germain after 2 seasons. Let's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
And we've got ourselves a muggy start out there and a muggy day ahead of us. We'll take a look at your complete forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:18 now on this Thursday morning, and we've got some real thunderstorm chances for us as we head into the afternoon. So you might be wondering, well, what do you mean by real thunderstorm chances? Well, we're not talking pop-up storms. We're talking actual thunderstorm chances, like widespread, organized rain chances across the area. So let's see how that looks on the future track. Here we are about noon. We got partly to mostly cloudy skies across the area, and then we start to see this activity develop between 1 and 4. We'll start to see showers and thunderstorms across the area begin to build. And these will actually stick with us as we go through the evening hours because these aren't pop-up storms. They're not relying on the heating of the day. They are relying on themselves and a stalled boundary near us that will keep these things going for a little bit. We go later into the evening, even into the early overnight hours, and we'll see another quick round of some showers and thunderstorms across the area. So looking at the precipitation tracker down the way, if everything holds true and stays with this course, we've got more actual rain chances as we head into the weekend. So we're looking at maybe picking up inch and a half of rain, maybe even some locations close to 2 inches, hopefully, as we head through Sunday evening. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed that we really hold on to these rain chances. Now we head into our Friday. We have another round of pop-up storms. So our Friday forecast definitely looking like just some scattered pop-up storms across the area. No organized rainfall there. But then again, as we head into the weekend, we'll see those chances return. So this is what it looks like on the 7 to 7 precip chances for today. With the pop-up storms, we'll see that 20-30% mark, and we see it just kind of bounce around, and that's really a good indicator that we're looking at pop-up storms. There's that chance you may or may not see one. But here, rain chances ramp up as we head into the evening hours because we are really looking at a pretty decent shot of some showers and thunderstorms across the area. MoDOT camera, 32nd and range line looking really good so far. Got the sun rising there. Not seeing the sunlight just yet on the KDOT camera at 69 and 400, but worry not, it is on its way. And it's muggy and the air is thick out there, but look at that sunrise. Doesn't that just look beautiful? Amazing what this camera gets to see every morning. 70 in Joplin, partly cloudy skies, dew point 61, humidity is 73%. So that's what I'm talking about. The air's pretty thick out there this morning. We got 65 in Nevada, 66 in Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, 70 Chanute, 63 Neodesha Parsons, 64 Miami, and sitting at 67 in Neosho. We get our morning started. We'll have some of these partly cloudy skies out there, much warmer and still muggy, mid-80s by late morning or right near the mid-80s. Highs today once again pushing right around 90 degrees across the whole region. We talked about this yesterday. We're obviously not seeing those morning showers, so all of us looking at highs right around 90 degrees. Partly cloudy skies by this afternoon. Showers and thunderstorms build in through the evening and into the early overnight hours. We got another mild night ahead of us, too. We're talking mid to upper 60s across the region. Pop-up storms tomorrow, near 90 again. Mid-80s this weekend. Better thunderstorm chances throughout Saturday and Sunday. More storm chances Tuesday and Wednesday. And then after that, look at next week as we close it out. We're talking temperatures into the mid-90s, the mid-90s across the area, so do be prepared for some heat. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Casino.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a woman's exposure to forever chemicals during pregnancy can cause a greater risk of obesity for their child. Findings from Brown University were based on 8 research groups located in different parts of the U.S., as well as with different demographics. Researchers found children are more likely to have a higher body mass index if their mother was around so-called PFAS. People who have trouble falling or staying asleep may be more likely to have a stroke, and that's according to a study published in the Journal of the American Academy of Neurology. Those with at least 1 to 4 insomnia symptoms had a 16% increased risk of stroke compared to those with no sleep issues. Researchers noted that symptoms do not cause strokes, only that there is an association. Long COVID can affect quality of life more than having some cancers, and that's according to new research out of England, which asks patients to complete questionnaires about their day-to-day activities. Taking into account symptoms like fatigue and depression, people with long COVID generally scored lower in some categories compared to those with advanced metastatic cancers like stage 4 lung cancer. Well, from New York to Detroit to the Carolinas, more than 55 million people in the U.S. are under air quality alerts as wildfire smoke from Canada blankets a big section of the country. Karen Kefa has more.
In New York City, the nation's capital, west to Detroit and down to North Carolina, millions of Americans are under alert for unhealthy air quality conditions as Canadian wildfire smoke floats a mix of pollutants through U.S. skies.
It affects every part of the airway system from the nose all the way down to the lungs.
So experts say take caution.
When the air quality is this bad, everybody should try to stay indoors.
Especially those with pre-existing conditions that impact the heart and lungs. Dr. Afif El Hassan is a pediatrician and spokesperson for the American Lung Association.
Make sure that you anticipate ahead of time if you need specific medications, especially inhalers for asthmatics.
With more than 9 million acres charred by Canadian wildfires so far this year, Dr. John Balmes of the University of California, San Francisco, and UC Berkeley says the eastern U.S. should anticipate future air quality concerns like the West does.
This is a wake-up call for those in the East Coast about what is in store for the future. These wildfires are going to continue to be a problem.
And Dr. El Hassan says to play it safe for a few days after this haze clears.
The air can still be polluted and have a large number of particles in it for many days after the fires. So it would be important to monitor the air quality in your area before you decide to go outside and do a lot of outdoor activities.
In Washington, I'm Karen Kefa.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
I got a quick check of our 7-day forecast for us. Near 90 today. Thunderstorms this afternoon into the early overnight hours. Pop-up storms tomorrow, upper 80s. Better storm chances again through the weekend, mid-80s. Then as we head into next week, a little cooler on Monday. We're talking low 80s. Look at that overnight low, though, back into the upper 50s. Doesn't last long, though. Thunderstorm chances Tuesday, Wednesday, mid to upper 80s. And then that translates into some partly cloudy skies and hot conditions as our highs go into the low to mid 90s, and that puts our overnight lows in the upper 60s and lower 70s. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6:30, the Show Me State continues its legislative push to ban gender-affirming treatments for not just minors, but adults as well.
We've got a warm and muggy start for us across the area. Hot today, but we've got storm chances increasing this afternoon. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
And students across the nation continue to struggle to repay their student loan debts. KOAM's Anthony Saviello takes us to MSSU to talk to one student who knows the struggle all too well.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's a bit muggy, a little bit warm out there across the area. I mean, we're talking the air's pretty thick today. It's going to be hot and muggy as we head into the afternoon, but we've got some thunderstorm chances building in, and these are actually going to be widespread showers and thunderstorms, not this pop-up thunderstorm business we've been contending with for the last several days. So let's go down the road. Here we are at noon, partly cloudy skies, and as we go between about 1 and 4, we'll start to see showers and thunderstorms developing around the region. We're not anticipating any severe weather, but a stray strong storm or two possible. Otherwise, we're just looking at good, much-needed rain chances across a wide portion of the region as we head through the afternoon, evening hours, and because these aren't pop-up storms, they're not just relying on the daytime heating to keep themselves going. So here we are at 10 o'clock, and we get another little batch of some showers and thunderstorms, and those will persist even into the early overnight hours. Now, for our Friday, we are looking at pop-up storm chances again, but here you can see where our rain chances really ramp up. None of this 20-30% business with pop-up storms. Again, we're talking some actual thunderstorm activity out there. MoDOT camera 32nd and range line. Traffic is moving, always a good sign, and the sun is rising, getting some daylight, and you can always see when the sun's starting to rise here in southeast Kansas because that traffic light begins to reflect it. That's the KDOT camera at 69 and 400. Look at that sunrise. Absolutely beautiful this morning. 70 degrees in Joplin, dew point at 61, humidity 73%. So it is a bit on the muggy side out there for sure. We head into the temperatures around the area. 66 Nevada, 68 Fort Scott, 63 Parsons, 65 Chatopa, Miami, and 68 in Neosho. Get our morning started. We'll have those partly cloudy to mostly clear skies. Mid 80s by late morning, and as we head into the afternoon, we're looking at highs right around 90 degrees, muggy, sticky, steamy, whatever you want to call it. Then we go partly cloudy and see those thunderstorm chances begin to build in. We'll have another complete look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Transgender minors and some adults in Missouri will soon be banned from accessing puberty blockers, hormones, and gender-affirming surgeries. Governor Mike Parsons signed the bill on Wednesday. Beginning August 28th, the Missouri healthcare providers will not be able to prescribe those gender-affirming treatments for teens and children. Most adults will still have access to transgender healthcare under the law, but Medicaid will not cover it. Gender-affirming surgeries for inmates and prisoners will also be outlawed. The law is set to expire in 2027. Governor Parson also signed a bill prohibiting educational institutions from allowing biological male students from participating on sports teams designated for biological females. The law applies to elementary, secondary, and post-secondary education institutions, and that includes private schools, public schools, charter schools, and colleges and universities. A Missouri Southern student is one of the thousands of people around our nation navigating how to repay student loans after graduation. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has their story.
This past week, the U.S. narrowly avoided defaulting on its debt. While the country can rest easy, those who have student debt now have to avoid defaulting themselves. I asked Sharon Fraser at the Missouri Southern Financial Aid Office what students can do to avoid this.
Right now is the time for you to log into your loan servicer, make sure that your address, all the contact information is correct, and just so that you can determine what repayment plan you want or that you're able to pay.
But how do the students feel? Sierra West is a student employee at the Spiva Library on campus, where she is surrounded by one of the things she loves most, books. Sierra said she enjoys her job, but graduation is only a semester away, which means her last day at the library is too, making the thought of paying student loans all the more worrisome.
That debt will just keep amounting, and I know from personal experience that it's always there in the back of your mind, even if you try not to think about it. It has influence on you, because money is just one of those things that you're always going to worry about.
Sierra has worked hard to try and make sure she is able to come out of college in as little debt as possible. But what about students who are worried that the Biden debt forgiveness plan won't pass?
My first thing I would say, don't panic. Just don't panic about it. Contact your loan servicer, look into those repayment options, and just do the best you can.
So in an unsure time where your debt hangs in the balance, you may want to make some preparations. Reporting from Joplin, I'm Anthony Saviello.
Student loan repayments could begin 60 days after the Supreme Court makes its decision on the Biden-Harris forgiveness plan. Students are encouraged to get in contact with financial aid offices and loan servicers to figure out a plan. The 2023 Missouri Preservation Conference is underway in Joplin. One speaker, Ricky Smith, talked about her progress in restoring local cemeteries. Jasper County is not the only county with decaying cemeteries. Missouri has dozens of abandoned cemeteries, and they are not taxed for maintenance. And Smith shares why she and some volunteers have been restoring cemeteries for a while now.
And if we don't preserve them, we will lose them. Even some common practices from 20 or 30 years ago, like using chalk to make rubbings or using pencils to make rubbings of stones, those things can actually damage the headstones and make them less readable to us today.
2023 Missouri Preservation Conference will continue through Friday. Well, the annual Vernon County Festival and Bushwhacker Days are coming up in Nevada. They're actually underway now. Some Nevada residents are preparing their booths for the 59th annual Bushwhacker Days and Vernon County Festival. Now, the name for the festival dates back to the Civil War, as the city was known to be the capital for bushwhackers. The Nevada and Vernon County Chamber of Commerce officials say they want to keep the name of the festival same after years while enjoying the community together.
It's nice to see so many people come out and support the community and support the town and everything that is happening here. We have people from just local small businesses that will be here set up to people that come from middle of Kansas and Arkansas to come here and have a booth and just enjoy the festivities.
Today and runs through Saturday. Folks down in Commerce, Oklahoma came out Wednesday evening for the first day of Commerce Days. This is the 12th year for the event. There was live music, arts, and craft vendors, and even a carnival.
What keeps me coming is, something to do, something to keep us entertained, all the friends. We got like rides, we got things after, all the food, I'd say the food's good. The fried Oreos, my favorite.
Love me some fried Oreos. Fun continues through Friday, each night from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. And then on Saturday, a parade will be held at 9 o'clock in the morning with events lasting past midnight. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. Is this a tipping point for tipping culture?
Americans are getting tight with tips. I'm Astrid Martinez with more on the steady decline and what's driving it.
Plus, we've got ourselves a warm and muggy start out there today. Hot again, but thunderstorm chances increasing this afternoon. We'll take another look at your forecast. But first, here's a live look from Grand Falls in Joplin in honor of Great Outdoors Month. We'll be right back.
In Consumer Watch this morning, it appears Twitter owner Elon Musk and the company's lawyers are not on the same page. For months, Musk has touted claims that the U.S. government illegally coerced Twitter into censoring a 2020 New York Post article about Hunter Biden. But Twitter's own lawyers are disputing that. In a court filing last week, the lawyers said the so-called Twitter files were just regular communication between the FBI and Twitter ahead of the 2020 election, and that it did not amount to government coercion. They said the FBI was just issuing general updates about their efforts to combat foreign interference in the election. That is consistent with statements made by former Twitter employees and the FBI. Consumer Product Safety Commission is urging people to stop using an infant pillow that has been linked to at least 10 baby deaths. Boppy newborn loungers were originally recalled in September of 2021 after 8 infants died. The problem is babies can suffocate in certain positions on the pillow or roll off of it onto other dangerous surfaces. Some people have continued to use the product, which has resulted in 2 more deaths since the recall. Officials say used Boppy loungers also appear for sale on sites like Facebook Marketplace. They point out that it is illegal and anyone who owns the product should stop using it immediately. Ever wanted to leave a video voicemail? With Apple's latest iOS update, iPhone users will be able to leave audio and video messages through the FaceTime app. If the person you're FaceTiming doesn't answer, it'll allow you to leave a visual message for them later. Also new with the iOS 17 live voicemail, which gives a real-time transcription as someone leaves a voicemail, along with the chance to pick up while the caller is leaving a message. Ooh, just like the old landline. The new software also has a journal app, which Apple says is a way for people to practice gratitude, and standby mode, giving users a glanceable view of information on their phone when it's set down and charging. Well, that tip jar is starting to sound a little empty. New survey from Bankrate.com finds Americans are growing weary of opening their wallets, with men and Gen Zers among the worst tippers. Astrid Martinez reports.
A traditional display of gratitude isn't feeling the love these days. A new survey from Bankrate.com finds 2/3 of Americans have a negative view about tipping.
I think it's like we're just overpaying everywhere.
Bankrate found tipping has been dipping steadily over the past several years in frequency and amount for services like sit-down restaurants, hairstylists, food delivery, and taxi drivers.
Gen Zers, millennials, men, they tend to be the worst tippers. I think inflation's a big part of it. I think money is tight for a lot of people. They feel like they have less to spare.
There may be less to spare, but tipping prompts are everywhere. 32% of adults say they're annoyed by those pre-entered tip screens, and there's even self-service and pickup confusion.
Just picking up a cup of coffee, or I'm picking up a bagel, or I'm picking up something from a convenience store, I see like an option to tip there too, which I feel I don't know what to do there, right?
I think a lot of people resent some of these trends, but I also don't think it's going away anytime soon.
41% of survey respondents said businesses should be paying their employees more instead of passing that buck to customers.
Workers do deserve a higher pay rate.
If you're inclined to tip, 20% is a good rule of thumb for a sit-down meal or a cab ride or stylist service. More than 1/3 of people say they feel good paying it forward. Astrid Martinez, CBS News, New York.
Well, Americans carrying less cash on hand also accounts for some of that tipping problem. Certain businesses give employees personal QR codes for cash-free tips. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
And we've got ourselves a warm and muggy start this morning. Sun is shining, a few clouds out there. We're going to be hot and muggy later today with more thunderstorm chances this afternoon. We'll take a look at that full forecast here in just a little bit. We've also got your daily celebration of birthdays and anniversaries coming up after the break. But before we do that, let's go find out what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, comedian Fortune Feimster will be with us to talk about her new series, FUBAR, and acting alongside the legend, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Thursday birthdays across the 4 states. We're going to begin in Erie with Adelina Hernandez celebrating birthday number 1. Happy birthday.
All right, Adelina McKenna Pryor celebrating birthday number 6 this morning in Arcadia, Kansas. I hope you have a wonderful day.
And we've got Olivia Kirkwood celebrating number 8 over in Baxter Springs with love from Mima and Papa Kirkwood.
All right, Aiden Harris celebrating number 11 this year in Erie, Kansas.
And back to Arcadia, we've got Drew Coxman celebrating birthday number 13 with love from Mimi and Papa. Happy birthday, Drew.
In Columbus, Colton Gregory. Happy birthday.
Also in Columbus, Fonda Jackson celebrating a birthday, and Fonda is the young lady on the right. Happy birthday.
All right, and out in Lamar, Missouri, Brad Overstreet is celebrating birthday number 63. He's got many reasons to celebrate, including his first grandchild, Charlie, that he's holding there.
And we've got Hunter and Emily McPherson celebrating their 4th anniversary up in Frontenac. And there they are with their son, Jackson. Happy anniversary to the McPhersons.
Oh, what a great family photo there. And finally, last but certainly not least, celebrating their 50th anniversary. A special congratulations going out to the Franks in Columbus, Kansas. Richard and Barbara Frank, married for 50 years.
All right, we love celebrating these birthdays and anniversaries, and Tanya can tell you what you need, where you need to send them, rather.
That's right. All you have to do is email them to us to birthdays with an S at KOAMnewsnow.com.
And of course, while you're on our website checking out all the really cool things it has to offer, make sure you take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. It is easy to do. You get special deals from local businesses. You also get a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So make sure you take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today. All right. Real thunderstorm chances this afternoon. We're talking widespread, none of that pop-up business that we've seen here lately. Actual widespread shower and thunderstorm chances. Here we are at noon, partly cloudy skies, hot, muggy, and then we start to see this stuff between about 1 and 4 get going across the area with these showers and thunderstorms. They're still scattered, but obviously they're not pop-up storms. We've got them in a large portion of the region. And because they're not pop-up storms, they're not relying entirely on the heating of the day. In fact, they're relying on a stalled boundary around us. And so that will allow them to even continue into the evening and even into the early overnight hours with a few more stray showers hanging on as we head toward sunrise on our Friday. Now, Friday we have pop-up storm chances again, but today you can see where our storm chances really pick up. Not anticipating any severe weather, but a stray strong storm or two is possible, but otherwise just some much needed real rainfall out there. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line looking good. We got the sun rising out there, and we're seeing that sunlight on the KDOT camera at 69 and 400, of course, just south of Pittsburgh. And there is that sunrise. We got a few clouds out there across the area. Otherwise not bad. Warm and muggy though. 70 in Joplin. Dew points at 61. Humidity at 73%. So that does make it feel a little sticky out there. Around the region we got 65 in Nevada, 66 Fort Scott, 69 in Chanute, 65 Chatopa, Miami, 69 Neosho, and sitting at 70 in Carthage. So a fairly mild start for most of us around the area. As we get our day started, we'll have those partly cloudy to mostly clear skies. We're warm. We're talking temperatures near the mid-80s by late morning, so that's going to be well above what we've been used to here lately. And as we head into the afternoon, yeah, it's a hot one ahead of these thunderstorm chances. We're looking at highs pushing right around 90 degrees today. Partly cloudy by the afternoon, and then we'll start to see those scattered showers and storms build into the area. And the good news is, because these are a little bit more widespread, these are a little longer lasting showers, our temperatures will fall back a little faster this evening. We're still going to be mild, but they'll drop a little quicker. That's 74 by 10 with those scattered thunderstorm chances. We're looking at overnight lows in the mid to upper 60s. We'll have another check your forecast, including the 7-day and the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Governor Parson from Missouri signs a bill prohibiting educational institutions from allowing biological male students from participating on sports teams designated for biological females. The law applies to elementary, secondary, and post-secondary education institutions. That includes private schools, public schools, charter schools, and colleges and universities. The Oklahoma Broadband Office is on a tour across the state to meet with local officials and community members about their high-speed internet priorities. On Wednesday, they stopped by Miami for a meeting at the Coleman Theater. Officials with the office discussed the benefits of increased access, adoption, and widespread use of high-speed internet that it can have on a community like Miami. And a new natural gas provider comes to Oronogo, Missouri this month. The city's utilities will transition to Spire on June 22nd. And current natural gas customers will continue to receive service at their homes and businesses with no interruption during the transition. The 2023 Missouri Preservation Conference is underway in Joplin. One speaker talked about her progress in restoring local cemeteries. Jasper County is not the only county with decaying cemeteries. Missouri has dozens of abandoned cemeteries and does not tax for maintenance. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
All right, as we mentioned, it's going to be hot and muggy today. Highs right around 90 degrees, partly cloudy this afternoon. Thunderstorm chances build in later in the afternoon through the evening, even into the early overnight hours. And we're mild again, dropping back to the mid to upper 60s. Thunderstorm chances this weekend, pop-up storms tomorrow. More thunderstorm chances by Tuesday and Wednesday next week. After that, we're looking at highs in the low to mid 90s.
All right, well, coming up today at noon, we're making a warm bacon dressing in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
All right, and your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings, so make sure you tune that out, or tune that in. No, don't tune it out, tune it in.
Or
you know what I mean.
You can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, the Joplin Fire Department blazes into the studio to teach us all about fire detector safety.
Plus, Jess Pingree from the Verdella Free Will Baptist Church stops by to tell us about a free concert you can attend. That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.